Good morning. It's September 18, 2015. We're having an emergency meeting for the Raleigh Water Board of Commissioners here in Raleigh. Full attendance is the full board. First order of business is to approve the minutes. Did you look at the minutes?
No, I did, but I didn't attend.
Okay. Well, you attended the opening.
I attended the opening, so yes, I've reviewed the minutes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I'll abstain.
All in favor? Aye.
I would like to say that I'm out of here at 8:55 sharp. This meeting, I had an email, it was to start at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Jamie Snow and I were here at 8 o'clock.
Okay. All right, so we'll try to fast track it to get all these issues down. So we have a motion to accept the minutes and vote 2-1. So.
Why were the minutes? I should say my email said 8 o'clock. You say 8:30.
Well,
And the citizens' inquiry is 8:05.
yeah, I made a mistake there. So, and when I posted it, it was more toward 8:30 than 8 o'clock. So I couldn't quite get in there for 8 o'clock to post it. Okay, so we have a citizen's query from 8:35 to 8:40. To 8:40. Do I have any questions? Karen?
My name is Karen Summit. I'm the treasurer collector for the town of Raleigh and also a member of the Raleigh fiscal team. The Board of Water Commissioners claimed it has independent authority given to it by law and statute. Chapter 11 of the Legislative Acts of 1946 authorizes the town of Raleigh to supply itself and its inhabitants with water. Section 3 states, the Board of Water Commissioners may establish rules and regulations for the management of its waterworks, not inconsistent with this act or any other provisions of the law, which means you can't cut down trees in the wetlands, known as Treegate. You can't overspend town meeting appropriations, Garage Gate. You have to follow procurement laws, Gate, and you have to follow the open meeting law and executive session laws, its current debacle. Maybe Weston and Sampson or William Michella would like the names of some of the vendors who haven't previously been paid for unauthorized expenditures by the Water Board. In its current process of wasting our time and money, the Water Department has flagrantly disregarded opinions from a variety of town council and chosen instead to cut and paste from Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 69B. In an email from the illegally retained attorney William Michella, Special Investigator, the Water Commissioners, quote, shall have exclusive charge and control of the Water Department, but neglects to add, quote, subject to all lawful bylaws and to such instructions, rules, and regulations as the town may impose by its vote. In reality, the Raleigh Water Department has no powers under Mass General Law, Chapter 4169B. If you read the final paragraph of the statute, the provisions of this section relative to the powers and duties of the Water Commissioners or the selectmen acting as such shall also apply to the commission, board, or persons having control of the Water Department or the water system of any city, town, or district established under special law, which in the case of Raleigh is Chapter 11 in the Acts of 1946. Upon acceptance of this section by such city or town or district, this act was never accepted by the town, so is inapplicable to any reference by the Water Commissioners. According to Mass Department of Revenue, the Water Department is an enterprise fund operating under Chapter 44, Section 53 F and a half, which defines an enterprise fund as an entity to account separately for all financial activities associated with a broad range of municipal services. It establishes a separate accounting and financial reporting mechanism for municipal services for which a fee is charged.
Excuse me for 1 minute. Are you here as the treasurer or are you here as Karen Summit?
I'm here as a fiscal team member. I'm here as Karen Summit.
This is a citizen query, so.
I'm a citizen too.
Okay, so you're here as a citizen?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here as both.
Okay.
Okay? It establishes a separate accounting and financial reporting mechanism for municipal services for which a fee is charged in exchange for goods and services. Under FAQ number 7 in its April 2008 publication, Enterprise Funds, Chapter 44, Section 53F and a half, can an enterprise fund operate independently or under its own procedures? No. An enterprise fund is accounting/budgeting method. It does not grant additional powers to the department providing the service. So please stop wasting our time and money and follow the rules of Rowley. It appears the chairman has some personal agenda. You have no special powers. Do the best thing for the town and its ratepayers. Reinstate the superintendent immediately, and Commissioners Toomey and Dalzell should resign and let the town appoint a board who is capable of supporting the superintendent without harassment. The water department has serious business that needs to be done. Stop acting like buffoons and get down to business or resign.
Okay.
Barring the resignation of its commissioners, the Water Board of Commissioners should immediately reorganize. Thank you.
I'll comment to that. I think that the town is trying to hide something. What are you trying to hide?
What are you trying to hide? You're the one who hired an investigator for $5,000.
You're trying to hide something, so you're putting this whole group in here. Why are you trying to do that?
Excuse me?
We're trying to work.
Excuse me, I did this.
This is
Yeah.
this is no response from citizens
Who's next?
from the board.
So would you be willing to give us that as a statement?
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Denise Gillen, I'm a citizen here in Raleigh. I have a couple of questions, which apparently it's not a question and answer session. Without the town's approval, I don't understand how these different entities will be funded. Where is the money coming from? And shouldn't there be some sort of a vote taken before the town before the residents are put to pay these bills? They're not in the budget, obviously, because you're already paying a superintendent. Where is the money going to come from other than from us? And we're already paying large water bills. Why would we want to pay for 2 superintendents? I don't understand the concept here.
Okay, I'll answer that. We have an operating budget, and it includes both labor and operational expenses for this department, which this board is responsible for making sure the water is flowing and safe and it's economical. We're just trying to make it economical. It's been expensive.
How does spending
Let me
double
finish,
on
please.
superintendent?
So we hire out services all the time,
Yes.
on an as-needed basis. And this
As needed.
board has the authorization to do as such. So we've had an executive session last meeting, and
Not really.
because of that, yes, we did.
Illegal session.
How do you
It's
justify
an
that?
allegation, it's an allegation whether it's illegal. It's not a debate right now, okay? So
Oh, I've been on boards before. It
it's not a
wasn't
debate.
done that way.
It's not a debate today. So we're running out of time.
Good
for-
morning, I'm Ola Vassar, I live at 6 Leslie Road, I live in Raleigh. I'm here today because this is appalling to me. I have been in town for 22, 23 years, I know most of the people in the room. I've been on a number of boards in town, and the reason why I joined the boards in town is to benefit the town. I may not have a clear background on some of the boards. Obviously, I don't think anybody here has a water background. I know John has a finance background, he brings that to the table. I'm not sure, Mr. Dalzell, I know you've been on board, you've been a selectman, but this is appalling to me, so I'm here today to let you know that I'm the head of the recall. I will check in to recalling both of you, because this is absurd to me. I am a taxpayer, as everyone else in this room is, that is a Raleigh citizen, and to think that we went to town meeting to approve the new plant at millions of dollars, that we were terrified of approving that and giving that into the hands of the water board, and to think 32 million gallons of water, there's condensation problems. We need a leader. We hired a leader, and now you've reduced her to administrative leave. We don't understand, because we need a leader. You're not the leader, she's the leader. So I just want to go on record, because there seems to be secrets actually on your side of the table with this executive board that was illegal. I don't know what your agenda is. You're asking Karen, which you have an agenda, and I am not having a secret. It's me. I will find out how to go forward on the recall, but I, again, follow with Karen. I ask you to resign. One of you, please resign so we can start the process. This is absurd.
Okay, the citizens' query is now over.
Point of information,
Citizens
you can
query is
actually,
supposed to
you
be
can't,
15.
you can't do that until we finish.
You guys gotta study the law.
Requires you to
And I
speak
do
last
have a
week.
It's
question.
supposed to be 15 minutes according to the water department.
It's a very simple
Policy.
question. I'm a citizen, I live on Central
Okay.
Street, my name is Pamela Bowen, and I want to know why Mary Beth was suspended with pay, because I'm paying her salary as paying your salaries as well, and I don't care to pay someone's salary when they're not working, so what is the reason?
All right, so when the investigation is complete, all this stuff will be available to the public.
What are we investigating?
What are you investigating?
That's against the law to talk about what we discussed in an executive
I
session.
waive my rights to privacy so that everybody in this
I'm
room.
not recognizing you.
That's illegal, sir. Point of information.
So what's being
legal
legal?
responsibility?
I'm a
to
board member.
acknowledge.
I don't know what you guys are looking
I
at for
just
Mary
said,
Beth.
yeah.
If you-
I don't
Well,
know.
I think that's
Okay,
the
well,
crux
I'll
of the
answer
issue.
that too. I'll go
What are
back,
we
you
looking
give
for?
me, I'll go back to the brush mower the superintendent wanted to purchase, and I simply said, give these 2 stores in Raleigh to sell mowers a shot. And I was told the store on Route 1, it was a lesser known brand for a little more money. And I was told the second store, Egworms, on Route 1A, did not sell brush mowers, when in fact, they sell them, and it had a slightly larger engine for $300 less. And we are told that they did not sell them.
Okay,
Is that a term, is that a term of
I know,
suspension?
but
You can use that for,
that's,
do you find
that's,
that you can use
no.
that as a measure for?
no, that's something, that's one of the things that have been going on. We're concerned about the cost here. Okay?
So.
That it
so
wasn't
you had-
discussed.
So you held a meeting.
We had an executive session.
Which was,
and
so
it
how
was
do you respond to the
advertised
fact
what
that
we
you,
did.
that you violated the open meeting law?
Okay.
Plus,
I don't, sir, I don't want to have any allegations here, okay? If you
there's
have a
a
question, I'll
there's a
let you have
factual
the
opinion
answer.
that has been generated by council. How do you respond?
It's
Chairman,
generated
how do
by
you
council.
respond? We have an opinion that we read.
We had,
We have an opinion that we read.
we had an opinion that was read contrary to the council's recommendation that it
This is
shouldn't
an
be.
open meeting law. This is nothing.
I know, but this
This is
is-
an open, this is separate from your
I know, but-
responsibility and jurisdiction.
Look, if you're gonna talk through me, then I'm not gonna recognize
You're
you.
not answering,
Any other
but-
questions, please? Ron?
I have one. Me? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, me, okay. For 3.5 years, I have spent my Tuesday nights here at 401 Central Street attending Board of Water Commissioner meetings at the request of the Finance Committee, of which I am a member. During this time, I have seen the worst of the worst and recently have seen a change in the wind. Mary Beth Weiser has done more in 1 year than all of the previous acting, I think it was 5, and the previous full-time superintendent combined. When Commissioner Manning came on board, that continued with the forward movement. The 47-minute mark of the August 31st Board of Water Commissioner meeting, Mr. Toomey brought up the subject of hiring an attorney yet again. Selectman Peterson reminded the board that the Board of Selectmen had not approved this and that the Water Board did not have authority to hire one on their own. Mr. Toomey said he was going to hash it over for the next few weeks. 14 days later, Superintendent Weiser was put on administrative leave, and 3 days beyond that, an attorney, Michelle, was hired. That's odd timing. As a member of the Finance Committee, I have grave concerns that these actions will have financial repercussions to the town due to the total disregard of the open meeting law. As a customer of the Water Department, I am stunned that such actions, irrespective of the frequent statements that the Water Board is here to serve the public, have in fact put the public in such a situation. I believe these actions are reprehensible. The Commission has nitpicked every nickel, dollar, and incessantly questioned every single item. The amount of work, rework again they have forced upon the superintendent, continually questioning her ability and knowledgement, is an embarrassment. The actions of the two commissioners who went into open meeting, went into executive section, actually committed over $11,000 of the ratepayers' money to this.
This is assuming a 2-week suspension is enough to satisfy that. If not, please add another $3,200 per week if it is a 40-hour work week. Per town council, these contracts were entered into illegally. These bills will not be paid by the town as the contracts are null and void. Another water department boondoggle. When will the board stop nitpicking and supervising the superintendent and allow her to manage her department? The superintendent's strong controls proved an overage of over $500,000 in last year's budget. The actions are shameful and reprehensible by elected officials of our community.
Okay, thank you for the comments.
How about
Could you
your
please
point
give us a copy of that? Now,
Is
is there anybody else that has lengthy
You
comments?
have
Could it
an
be happened?
obligation by law to respond to me, sir.
No, I don't have to. Okay,
You
so
do not think so? Would you like to?
file a
Do we
complaint.
have selectmen?
File
We have a
a
selectman
Proceed
here?
for
Bob, we select, wait a second, sir.
No, during citizen query, no.
But during, by
File a
point of
Citizen
information.
query is
File a
not supposed to.
Does anybody have a lengthy, wordy
have one question.
Point of
statement
information.
I have one
that they can just
question.
hand it to us so we can get
I
on
have
to some
one
people's
question.
questions here? Yes, Mr. Rob.
If we had $500,000 left over from last year, where is that $500,000 going? Is it going into the current budget, or is that water department losing that money? It's going to a rainy day fund. Where is that $500,000 going?
I believe it goes into the general fund, is that correct?
No, it's not correct. The water department is an enterprise fund, as I mentioned, and the reason it's set up as an enterprise fund is because it produces and sells a product. So it's a separate accounting entity, and for that reason, it sells a product, it has expenses. Because it's an enterprise fund, those funds will be certified as free cash to the water department and can be used for a variety of purposes. The last several years, the free cash of the water department has been placed in a water department stabilization fund. And once the free cash from fiscal year 15 has been certified, then the water department can use it for capital items. We generally don't want it for operating because we want to make sure we're operating within our budgets. Or it can go into the stabilization fund as it has for the past several years.
So we can't go into the 2016 budget to lower the rates?
No, because it isn't certified.
But the problem is, you don't even know what that fund is. We should have known, you should know that, Mr. Toomey. So you should resign, you don't know. We're worried. This is not right. You know, life is about, when it comes down to this, I don't know how many people come here, I've never been to your meeting, but I'm here because there's a huge problem. And it's about right and wrong. It comes down to something very simple, right and wrong.
Okay, well, let me.
So that's what I'm saying to you,
One of
right
the
and
things
wrong.
All right, one of the things I was gonna bring up is that if we have, we're concerned about the budgets, we're concerned about rates, everybody in this room concerned about their rates.
You're spending the money, so our rates
Is
are
there
going
anybody
up.
here not concerned about their rates? Already got a
Considering
question.
the average water bill in Massachusetts is $42.
So if we
What do you
have a
pay
budget,
$42?
if we have a budget that goes through, that's
The rates are
$900,000 more than it was the previous year, we on board with this concept here?
We have a
It's
water
900
treatment plant
Please let me
online.
finish. Please, we had 900, we had a treatment plan online last year too. So we had $900,000 more in the budget. Now, we have $500,000 in reserve. So it says to me that the budget last year was 2.1 million. It should be less than, 2.1 million. The last year's budget should have been less than 2.1 million. So, I mean.
You approved, your board approved the budget.
Yeah, of course we did.
And the line, the water treatment plant was
And
not
your
online
board
all of
approved it
last
too.
year.
Your board approved it.
It was
and
not
also
online all of
the
last
town.
year.
Right.
It didn't
And you
start
haven't been
till the very end of
recognized,
the year.
sir. If you want to keep in order here, you have to get recognized before you
You
can.
have an order, sir. You not follow the rules of the meeting.
You're invisible.
Yeah.
The citizen query is now over.
New points of information and you can't stop citizen query.
If you don't know how the enterprise fund works, why are you the chairman of the water board?
Right.
I'll just say that.
Yeah, I know that it's been a
You
great
have to ask
effort.
the treasurer.
I know
That's
there's been a
something
great
wrong.
effort to get me off as chairman.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You're sinking
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm not sinking myself.
Please do the right thing.
I'm not leaving.
May I comment on something you said about the fiscal 15
No,
budget?
the
Mr.
citizen
Delzal,
query
please
is now
resign.
over.
The fiscal 15 budget was
The
put
the
together.
citizen's query is now over.
Okay, well, now I'm speaking as the treasurer. The fiscal
We
15
don't have that on the
budget.
agenda, sir. I mean, ma'am.
The
Just call.
don't have
fiscal
that on the
15
agenda.
budget was done by the interim superintendent and the water board. She had
If
nothing
you
to do
can't
with
keep
it.
an order, I'm gonna call up the police and have you
Oh, dude,
Take it
go
out.
ahead.
Do it.
Give him a call.
Try.
get screaming out like this. You know, this is a
Excuse me,
citizen's
I'm
board.
not screaming out. You're not supposed to address things
Okay,
in
so
citizens'
the next
spirit. I thought you'd
item,
moved on.
the next item, that's up to the board. If you have if you want to do something like that, then you have to contact the board with a letter, okay? All right, what I wanted to address today is discuss selectmen's interference with water department operations pursuant to Town of Raleigh's rule and regulations.
Yes, please.
Okay. So at all meetings, we have the selectmen here. I'm not sure, and then why they're here. We're the authority to run this board.
Supervision.
It's called governance. Very basic.
No,
governance.
we're the
Legal
government.
structure.
Yeah.
No, the legal structure calls for check and balance on all committees and all organizations. If you look at the law, and you look at the
I'll write it down for
chart.
you.
So there's been a lot of interference here by the selectmen. And as evidence, and you can see the meeting last,
Thank goodness.
and I am appalled that all these comments were made by us, by you about us.
Clarification on chapter 69B. Maybe I'm misinterpreting it. It says the water commissioners
Allison,
or the
excuse me,
selectmen are
yeah,
authorized.
there's no more comments right now.
What's our comment? It's a
Yeah.
question. If it
Yeah,
does say in the law that
I'm gonna-
they're
I
authorized,
haven't got to that yet.
then they probably supersede you in authority. If they're authorized to run the board, if they select to do so.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but it says the water commissioner or the selectman authorized to act as such.
Okay, so the interference with the water board and our decisions of last meeting prompted us to, we conducted an executive session which we can't talk about right now because we have an active investigation ongoing. So in that process of doing that, we were prompted, we had to fulfill the needs for a superintendent. And so we contracted with Weston and Sampson. And it's something that we can't discuss right now, but so we have to do this process until we're done with our investigation.
Who's
So-
paying for that?
This water board.
The board.
No, I'm sorry, this water department.
Oh, yeah.
How is that
Okay, so
organization independent?
the water department's gonna pay for that, so.
No,
there's no-
that's not a person who's
So you're not taking any questions regarding what you're discussing?
We're gonna just proceed on.
You're
Yeah,
violating
we're
the rules of order.
Okay, can you
Point
produce
of,
those orders?
point of inquiry. Go look it up. Point of inquiry says that at any time that a member in the committee and a member of the audience can ask for insights, information, question, concern about the discussion of the motion or comment that is on the floor. So there's a point of inquiry asking about this. First, is this an independent investigation? If you are being questioned in the investigation, how can you be hiring an investigator and how can you be funding the investigator if you may be in the investigation yourself? It is not even a possibility of a valid investigation if you are involved in the investigation, if you are potentially being questioned or being potentially a target of the
I'm
investigation.
gonna continue on here.
Under what consideration can you continue on, sir? You've not addressed the point or the question.
We're not taking questions now.
It's a point of inquiry, it's not a question. It's by Robert's rules, it's valid and requires a response. You have a responsibility in your position to
Well, from
respond.
the information we provide here, you're welcome to put a question together and submit it to the board for the next meeting.
I just did, and I have all right and privilege to do so in an open forum. That is part of the rules of meeting. So you have to respond. How do you respond to the question? Was this an independent investigation? If you are potentially involved in the investigation, how can you have an investigation? How can you be involved?
We can't talk about executive sessions.
You just said you hired an investigation in a public forum, so you just already released it. It's no longer under the rules of privacy. I know this one for a fact. As soon as you disclose, you just lost the rules of privacy for that.
No.
You disclosed it as an investigation.
I don't agree with that, sir.
Would you like to look at the law and the way it works, sir? Well, because I'd love to sit down with you and have a conversation with a lawyer and explain to you how this works. As soon as you disclose the fact there's in fact an investigation, we're not asking about details of the investigation. We're asking about the fact that if there's an investigation going on, how do you certify that it's independent if you may be one of the people involved in the investigation?
And I have a
You're trying to get
question.
information about an executive session.
No, you already disclosed the fact that an investigation has been called
No.
for. So you already disclosed outside the executive session, an open forum.
Did you have a prior relationship with William Michella? Did you know him before you hired him? Is there a background to that? I just would like to know how you hired him, an investigator, because I'm an investigator.
Yeah.
I don't know him, so I want to know what his background is of how you hired him. It was pretty quick. So I'm thinking
I wish
you
I
knew
could talk
him.
about it was an executive session.
Well, did you know him prior to the investigation? Did you know William Michella? Did you have a relationship with him
I'm not gonna
prior
comment on that.
to hiring
I don't
him?
have to comment on
Well,
it.
that's my question.
You've breached,
I would like to
you've
know.
breached the privacy value that you have from executive session by being public about the fact that the investigation
You
exists.
we had an executive session. We're not supposed to talk about executive session.
You just did. You disclosed the information. As soon-
We
you just lost
had
privilege as soon
hired,
as you disclosed.
because of the executive session, this is my statement, because of the executive session, it prompted us to address two things. Somebody to take care of our department via a superintendent, which we hired, Weston Sampson. And we also have launched an investigation. And, so, what else do you want to know?
So there was.
Well, it sounds like it's
The
not-
Let me ask a
investigation,
question though.
the investigation
So
isn't
there was a
complete.
meeting held, a town meeting on record that has, I believe a letter was being sent of concern that the session was illegal. The executive session was not allowed to happen due to open meeting law. So you yourself should be under investigation at this point independently because you're breaking policy and law. So now, any investigation that you carry out has to be transparent, has to be available for the view and vision of, unless it's criminal, and if it's criminal intent, then you have to let us know there's a criminal investigation going on, the details of the
We
investigation.
don't have to tell you anything until the investigator.
That's not true. You held an illegal meeting, so you had an invalid executive
You're
session.
calling it a legal meeting.
It was an
Is
opinion
the
that was
Secretary
generated
of
by the
State,
council.
is the Attorney General's office calling it a legal meeting?
Was there a letter?
Right now,
by
right now, we're in the complaint stage.
So how is the investigation being held forward while you're under a complaint? You're under advisement of complaint, so you have to hold off on the action until the complaint's addressed. Explain to me, sir, how you legally can do that.
It's an
Yeah.
executive session.
That's not an answer to the question.
Chairman Toomey, Richard Cummings, 3 Arbor Way, Raleigh, Massachusetts. I'd like to know how the selectmen attending water department meetings is an interference in the meeting.
Okay. I think that when they come here, they have questions. They don't identify themselves as selectmen or. How are they interfering?
Yeah, how does that
So,
interfere with the meeting?
Are you asking questions?
Do you have material evidence of interference, sir?
questions?
Because you're making a slanderous comment, you're saying interfering, without
Right.
material evidence of.
I don't want to get into slander today.
Sounds personal.
Well,
Plenty of that going
what's your
on.
material evidence, sir? Point of inquiry, what is the material evidence of the interference? If you make a statement like that, you better be able to back it up.
Yeah, I will probably with a letter, okay?
Okay.
Karen?
I would just like to know, under which exemption to the public meeting law did you go into executive session last week?
What's that?
Under which exemption to the open meeting law
That's being investigated.
did you go into
That's going to be
executive
addressed by
session?
this board.
You
We
did
get
it.
14 days to address it, so we're not
You
going to
can't
talk
address
about
it
it.
yourself. You committed the violation.
Yes.
You yourself are not.
No, what they're
That's double
asking
jeopardy.
is, under the 9 reasons to go into executive session, which of the
Which one?
9 exemptions
Which one
did
did
you?
you
Did
When you sign those contracts with the
It's a
administrative
complaint.
assistant?
We'll handle it as a board.
If you have to have
There's a lot of
investigation.
as a board.
You have an obligation to respond, sir. You may have violated law. You have to respond to the question.
I don't have to respond, sir. I can say, I'll put it off to another meeting.
Actually, I can appeal that decision under Robert's
Okay,
rules and
then,
ask you to
you're
respond immediately.
welcome to do that.
So if you
I'm
choose
not
not
gonna
to,
tell
then
you
the
what you
meeting
can
should be.
But you're not going to tell me what I have to do.
I don't. Robert's rules, and the rules of order and the rules of government tell you.
Right.
Yeah. You're not
I'm
running
just
this meeting, sir. I am.
Stating them.
So if you can't keep an order, this is out of order right now.
I've made a point of inquiry, which is within order.
This is out of order.
Check-
You're out of order, sir.
You're out of order.
You're out of
I'm
order.
not out of order, but
You're out of
on
order.
Robert's rules.
Did anyone
Please
bring
leave
the
me alone.
Robert's rules?
I have a nice cell phone that's got a nice little listing of Robert's rules. Would you like me
Yeah,
would you like me to listen to you, sir?
Okay, the next order of business is statute of chapter 41, 69B. And I get a copy of the other commissioners. This clearly says that we have the authority to run this department.
I believe Karen Summit said that it was never
Right.
accepted by the town. So that's
That's
a problem.
There is a problem there.
what wasn't accepted, so
So
anything
you-
done
it's
under the
moved.
guise of that
If
is
it's not approved, then it's not.
null and void.
It's not valid in place.
I don't think it's that cut and dry, sir.
How is it not, sir? Explain
Tim,
it.
if
It was
it's
never
not
approved.
accepted,
It's not accepted, it's not in
valid law. It's not something the town can operate under if it's not accepted.
Please
by the-
resign, please let our citizens move on. Reinstate the superintendent now or in the near future, like by Monday. What you
Let's
did
stop
is
wasting our
wrong.
money.
It is illegal. We have a small town here, Mr. Toomey. I don't know what your agenda is, but it is wrong. It is clearly wrong. I am talking in a very simple way. You clearly have violated a lot of things. A lot.
I don't.
You
agree with
have.
that.
You're not
I don't agree with
acknowledging
that.
it. You don't even know about where the funds are. $500,000, and you don't know what fund it's in. The plant is leaking water, condensation. People are hooking up to the plant. This is wrong.
Yeah.
We can't afford, our town can't afford this, truthfully. We're talking about, oh, maybe our town water bill's going up. This is going to be huge.
By the way, we have the opportunity to do what's
What
called
are we
an
trying to
appeal
hide
the
here?
decision
I
of
mean-
the chair.
I'm sorry if I'm talking. What do we have to hide here by hiring, we're just gonna proceed with this executive session right now. The executive
We're not in
session.
executive session.
No, the executive session that we had last meeting on September 11th, we had some issues come up.
It wasn't.
Wasn't
accepted.
legal.
It's not.
So you're
it's
not
an
accepting
allegation,
that?
It's not legal.
Mr.
No,
Mr. Toomey,
Dave Peterson,
I
selectman.
would like to be recognized, sir.
Yes.
The open meeting law, apparently, the superintendent got a letter from the board, some sort of a letter saying she was going to be discussed at a private executive session. Under the law, and it's clearly stated, I did not bring the law with me, so I'm sorry for that, but under the open meeting law, the rules and regulations, it clearly states that an employee who is being discussed, her reputation, her job performance is being discussed, has the right to either have that done in open session or executive session. At that meeting, when you guys announced that you were going to go into executive session for unknown reason, really, although she had a letter previous, she said she wanted an open session, and you denied that. That's an absolute, it's in black and white. She has the right to have that. You keep talking about hiding things. She doesn't want to hide anything. She wants it all out. She wants this whole thing out on the table. So don't stop accusing us all of hiding stuff when you're the only one that appears to be hiding anything at all by going into these illegal executive sessions and having God knows what discussions, and we have no idea how you're spending our money, what you're doing with it. And when you can't, when there's a surplus in the budget, and you have to ask the treasurer where the money goes and how it works, it means you have no idea what you're doing here. No idea whatsoever. And that lawyer/dentist that you illegally hired is giving you legal advice, and you expect us to pay for it? Forget it. It isn't going to happen.
I think the term is due diligence, and I see this as a real problem with the water department. I know for a fact that many people, young people, are leaving Raleigh because they can no longer afford to live here. It's very pricey to live here. We're not Weston, we're not Newton Wellesley, we're not Andover's, we're not Wareham Hamilton. The average salary for a family of four here is probably around $70,000. How do you expect them to keep up with the rising property taxes, the rising water bills, the rising electric bills, and still live here because they want to live here, they grew up here. And I know in fact several of them that have spoken about that because they couldn't afford it. And that's a sad commentary on our town, which is a wonderful town, I believe. But to price people out of it, why? I have 6 houses for sale on Central Street. And that's consistently. Now, I have to assume some of that problem is the expense of living in Raleigh. I believe someone said at one meeting that they paid $10,000 a year for the privilege of living in Raleigh. And that's what it costs, between your property taxes, say $5,000, your water and your electric. There's $10,000 right there. That's a lot of money because it's after-tax money, which is more like $20,000. That's a lot, that's a bundle to pay. And we're not understanding how it's being run, why things are so costly. And that's a bigger concern than just the water department.
Well, I agree with you that this is really a costly operation. This board has been trying to keep the cost down. And in the process of doing that, we've seen some things that are distressing to us. To try to keep the cost down, it's not just one thing, it's several things. And there has been several things that have been spended here or expended that we're concerned about. And that's you were looking at the management practices in this executive session. So as a consequence of that executive session, we decided we needed to take some action. We took some action in the selectman's office with their meetings and everything, say that we can't hire certain things to cover us during this investigation. So we had to do this, and we had to hire somebody to substitute for our superintendent in the interim, which we hired Weston and Sampson.
Why'd you hire the
And then we had to, we were conducting an investigation. We're not very good investigators, so we picked this person, William Michelle. And
how do you know him?
What, excuse me, I'm still going to talk. Let me
Just
finish
asking,
talking,
how do you
okay?
know him? You haven't answered that question.
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
how
it
I
does.
know.
Oh, it matters.
You can
It
find out later.
completely matters. How do you know William Michelle?
Doesn't make any difference.
Yes,
because
it
he already
does.
hired.
Is there a comment?
It matters
He's
to us
hired.
who are paying.
Yes.
He is hired.
Who is he?
He is hired to determine whether or not we have some
Did you have a prior
problems
relationship
here.
with
He's
him?
doing the investigation. So once the investigation is complete, then the board can go into an executive session and make any actions that are necessary, and ratify them in open session. And we'll give our findings out at that time. That's the process. So if there's a different process out there, I don't know about.
So I'd like to call to that
So
order
I'm still
appeal
talking.
decision of the chair.
If you're gonna
You
talk
haven't responded
through
once to
me,
what
I'm gonna
said.
ask you to leave, sir.
You can ask me to
If
leave.
you're gonna, yeah,
Please ask me to leave. It's fine.
please leave, please leave.
No, you can't ask me to leave in public
Can't
forum.
ask.
It's great. It's another one of those.
You can't
wonderful
talk
things
through the
about
chairman, though.
Yes, I can. The chairman has not responded to one question or one point of inquiry. You have not
Mr.
followed the
Cummings.
rules.
Chairman Toomey, I think what the issue is here and why we're all here today is not unlike the recent development in sports with Tom Brady. And we feel that there's a dramatic overreach of power and the process was not done fairly. And we'd like you to take that under consideration, that the process was an overreach of your authority based on the town of Raleigh bylaws, and that we feel we're here because we feel the suspension to Ms. Weiser is unfair. And we'd really like you to take an introspective look at your processes and maybe reconsider some of your actions. Thank you.
I think we will do that, Mr. Cummings. So I think that, you know, the people coming out here have expressed themselves, and so we're going to be taking that into consideration. So in the interim, we're going to complete this investigation.
No, they're not
Yeah,
going
we're
to.
going
We're doing an appeal decision of the chair at this point in time.
I know, but we've already decided to hire this
No,
person.
that's what we have, the ability to appeal your decision. By
We're
Robert's
not
rules.
changing our.
No, you don't get to choose that. That's the best part of the
Yes,
appeal decision.
we're empowered by the people here, because we're.
But the people have the Can I show you the entry? Would you like to see the entry that says we have the right to appeal your decision as a population? I can show it to you.
You can't appeal it in executive session meeting. So
I can
sorry.
appeal the decision of the chair. You made a decision that came out of executive session that was decided as a decision. I can appeal the decision of the chair. You made a decision in executive session. It's right here. Would you like me to show it to you?
We have to bring it up right now because the town has told the two contractors that we hired that the town's not going to pay for them.
We have the right to appeal your decision in black and white, in writing. I'll show it to you.
Please appeal the decision with.
In public forum.
Thank you.
Now, we are.
It says I can
This is
appeal
an
it in
appeal.
public
This
forum.
is an appeal.
Appeal in public
So
forum.
I would like to say, what do you have to say to these two illegally hired entities who are not going to get paid?
They are legally hired.
No, they are
entities.
not. You hired them in an executive session, which is not anything that is under the executive session exemptions, and you do not have the authority. There are several
We have the authority to manage this department. And in the
under
process,
the
then-
rules of the town and the state, which you did not do. Would you like me to bring up some of the people that, how about the guy that cut down the trees during Treegate? He did eventually get paid, but under a lot of duress. GarageGate, there were vendors that never got paid because it was illegal.
That is other issues with the town, the process of paying contractors. There's always been a problem with that. There are things that go downtown that get paid without the authorization of this board. So I don't quite understand what the difference is. I mean, what point are you trying to
The
make?
difference is that they were illegally hired and they will not get paid.
They
And
got-
I hope they realize that, because
But
the water department is not some separate entity.
The gentleman that cut trees down and got paid, he did get paid.
Eventually, he did get paid, but these people were sent letters that said, you're not going to get paid.
So there might be a appeal with this board against those letters. I don't know.
I'm just letting them know, they're not going to
They-
get
yeah,
paid.
yeah,
You should know.
Well, don't the selectmen have the final opinion on that?
Yes, they do,
Yeah,
and the town
They're not the executive
accountant.
branch of the town,
That
they
is
they
correct.
run
Denied
the town,
That
so
is correct.
it seems pretty simple to me, and they would make the decision.
My intent here is not to turn this into a civics class,
No,
okay?
but I mean,
What
You
we're
haven't
doing
responded to
here-
any of the rules of
Yeah.
order, sir.
We know that this board has the authority to sign off on check warrants. We know we have authority to sign off on payroll. All these expenses with the town, we have the authority to approve a budget. We approved the budget last year, and we're questioning that now. So that's all it is. Okay, so we want to make sure that if there's anything we can do to reduce the rates, hopefully we can reduce the rates. Everybody's upset about the rates. I mean, we had a recent meeting back in May where there was a surcharge put on everybody's bill. We were able to flip that back and change the rates.
It never
So-
should have been
Yeah,
put on
right.
in the first place.
That's
Well,
right.
I agree with that.
Exactly.
It was kind of a wash, and no
I didn't
pun
vote for it.
intended, but you didn't get the surcharge on it.
But I'm a board member, and the board voted for it.
So
You
it's
resort
okay.
dollars into the rates.
Personally, I
You didn't change the
didn't agree with
No.
that.
The bottom line is you still paid it.
You didn't change the financials, you just absorbed the rate. You did a
Right.
mathematical play. You still have not responded, sir, to the appeal decision of the chair, which is by law, we have to respond, and the audience gets to do this, by the way, of the decision to suspend Mary Beth.
Right.
So we have an appeal on the table, so we need to have the opportunity to appeal the decision of the chair. Now, we have a commissioner who is
I'm
with
going to tell
us.
you right now, we've made decisions as a board here, and we're going to stick by them, period.
But
No.
this is
There's
called
an
a
appeal.
appeal of decision of
If
the
you have a
chair.
problem with that, we're not going to change it here on the meeting. If you
It
have a
says I can
problem,
ask in an open meeting, right here, black and white.
Yeah.
And I'm asking for that specifically.
well, we're not,
I don't
So
know.
we're
how
gonna
to
disrupt the
favor of
meeting?
the appeal, please state.
Aye.
Against?
Mr. Manning, did you vote for all this, or what's your situation, what's your position here on this?
I read the legal opinion from town council that the meeting was illegal, and I shared that admonition to the board members. They'd also received it directly from the council. And they proceeded forth, and I excused myself as I would not participate.
okay.
And
So are you aware of the investigation? Have you been made aware of the, you're a member of the board, even if you didn't go to the meeting, were you made aware of the suspension and the hiring of Weston and Sampson and why that was done and what happened at that meeting? Maybe me as a public, I can't be apprised of that, but certainly your two fellow board members should have given you that information so that in the future, if you go to the next executive
You
session.
know as well as I,
or
Mr.
whatever.
Peterson, that's illegal. If I talk about an executive session for somebody who didn't attend
To
the
a board
executive
member?
session.
No, actually, that's not true, sir. He's a board.
I'm telling you
member.
it's true, so.
Under what condition? What privilege do you have, sir? You're not following the rules of law.
It's
He's
not
an elected
acceptable.
Did the dentist say
It's not
He's an
so?
elected official, a member.
It's illegal for us to discuss
It's so,
what
as long as
happened
you
in
do
the
the
executive
executive
session.
session,
Anyway,
he's still supposed to be
Should have
reflected.
reflected it.
He is supposed to be a
Furthermore,
voting member of the board.
the lawyer opinion that was presented is a town attorney, but he's a labor attorney. This wasn't a labor.
He's an attorney.
It's not a labor
What,
thing?
are you a lawyer, sir? Do you have, are you a member of the Massachusetts Bar and have an ability?
I think
to-
everybody's confused. There's other issues going on
Well,
with
I
it.
think
I don't
it's.
think
You're not responding to any question. You
No,
can
it's
respond.
If I
not
may-
confusion.
if I
If the
may,
whole
Dave-
legal,
Dave asked
the
me a
meeting was
question.
illegal,
Yeah.
then everything decided at this illegal meeting is null and void because it
Correct.
wasn't legal,
That's
according to the council. I mean, I'm just restating what the council said.
That is correct.
Dave
So
asked me,
anything decided is not legal.
Dave asked me for my
Simple.
opinion about
Yes.
this whole thing.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to work with the board members, and we do have to be cautious about violating the laws with regards to sharing information. However, there's no minutes that I've seen from the meeting. I did get a copy of an email to the town administrator, and that's the way I found out of the actions that were taken. But the thing I find most disturbing is that the agenda for that alleged illegal meeting did not describe or discuss any personnel issues. And in addition, the open meeting laws prevent the expenditure of public funds to be allocated during a executive session. Those have to be done in an open meeting to expend public money. So I mean, the hits just keep on coming. I guess
How do you
that's
respond,
the-
Mr. Chairman? You have a
Appeal.
from your own, you have an appeal, you have an opinion from an elected official, who, by the way, by the rules of investigation, I know this part very well.
Well,
He's
you know
actually
what?
supposed to be fully
Well-
briefed, because he is part of the board.
We did have a motion by this board, who's authorized to expend money, and they're responsible for all the operating expenses for this department, had a vote July 14th to hire an attorney. So the question is,
No.
the selectman says we don't have the ability to hire an attorney.
Your board member seems to
Said
disagree
no.
that meeting occurred. He is an
So,
elected official of the board.
we have that motion on hand to pay for any kind of expenses, if they're legal or not.
You don't like to talk to her, you haven't responded to any
We
questions.
have
directly.
a need.
It was denied.
It was denied.
Immediate need to hire a superintendent in this interim period. And we've done that, and
It was denied.
We are asking for an appeal of the decision to suspend the existing superintendent as a public.
Right.
So that has to be
there's
addressed
not gonna be a
before you
motion
hire.
here, it's not gonna carry, so.
It's called, I can ask for appeal of the chair's decision.
Okay,
Yes.
so
And
we
I'm
have a
asking
motion
the
to
public-
reinstate the superintendent?
I'll make a second.
No, I didn't say, I made a
just
motion.
said-
You just
Can I-
did. You just did it, you're on the record as doing so.
I said, can I have a motion?
Oh, I make a motion to reinstate Mary Beth Weiser.
I don't second it, okay?
Well, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify now, so we're paying the current superintendent on suspension her salary to sit home and enjoy the fall foliage. At the same time, illegally, you're gonna have us pay Weston and Sampson, and I believe the fee is $80 an hour.
$3,200.
$80 an hour times 8 hours a day times. And in that letter, you said that, I question, you're saying a 2-week suspension, it seems as though, and I'm not a contract
This is
person,
what's
but
been
it looks as though you've hired Weston and Sampson for 30 days, which indicates you're probably gonna go over the 2 weeks. So we're gonna pay the superintendent plus Weston and Sampson. I mean, I don't even understand why you got Weston and Sampson.
So-
The primary operator up there in the interim, when Mary Beth goes on vacation, the primary operator fills in and takes care of the operations for a short period of time. Why do we have to hire a Weston and Sampson
$80 an hour.
to supervise it?
Okay,
The contract specifically says supervise the operator. He's not gonna get involved in issues or dealing with problems or anything else.
So let me, can I respond to that?
Sure, you can.
Okay. all right. This is just another example of you selectmen trying to muddy the waters.
All right.
This company, Weston and Sampson, has served for us before.
That's got nothing to do with it.
I'm still talking, by the way.
Nothing to do
I'm
with
still
it.
talking, by the way.
All right.
Okay, so we've hired them before, similar circumstances, right? And this is a time and material contract. So he doesn't report in here at 7, charges $80 an hour, or whatever the rate is, and spend the entire day with it. He's in here just as a person that's managing and overseeing this for this board. So he's not spending entirely an 8-hour day. He might spend 2 hours in a day. And he might spend 2 weeks, and he might spend 4 weeks. We don't know. It's an open-ended thing. It's commonly done, been done in the past. And to say statements like that is strictly to try to muddy the waters and
No.
inflame this whole audience.
One comment is,
You're now banned from me recognizing you to talk. I want you to file a complaint first. Okay? I want you to file a complaint personally.
Well,
okay?
excuse me, sir, I want to speak here.
Yes,
I've
you
had
may.
problems with my water this week. Mary Beth isn't here. She's the one I usually contact. Who do I call? Weston and Sampson? Or should I call that lawyer from Springfield who put a lien on the deed of my property because a water bill wasn't paid and they were using my address for the water department? I am really, really annoyed with all of this
I
frustrating
can see
stuff
that.
going
I
on.
can see
And
that.
it's time to stop wasting time in doing these silly things and get back to the business of running the water department and taking care of the customers and the citizens of Rowley.
Thank you.
In this interim period, we might have some glitches here. So you're having trouble with your water?
Well, would you drink it? I mean, really.
I'll tell you, you wanna see a picture of some of the water in this friggin' town?
Yeah, right.
Here, make that friggin' thing work.
In the meantime, I have a question. Right here?
Yes.
I have a question. In what open public meeting was Weston and Sampson and the lawyer hired?
they weren't.
Right.
I don't know if we have to have that.
Yes, you do.
It's already been established
So, I
that you
mean, this is subject to the open meeting
expense.
complaint that the selectmen have against us.
No, it's a question for the chairman of the board.
Toilet after.
Look at the toilet instead of just in questioning me and listening to me.
Keep the lights on the cameras. Hold it up so that the camera can see.
I know I'm banned, but when Weston and Sampson was hired before, we did not have a superintendent. We have a superintendent now.
Right.
When they worked previously for us, they've done a good job. I'm not knocking Weston and Sampson at all. They worked for us when there was no superintendent.
I know it's in my water. I
Is
don't
there an
drink it.
answer to my question?
I'm
In
sorry.
what public forum was Weston and Sampson and the legal counsel hired,
The dentist.
Right.
the legal dentist hired?
Are you suggesting that we don't have the ability to go
I'm
into
asking you a
executive session?
simple question.
An executive session,
In an
they
executive,
needed
thank you
to
for your
address our
answer.
actions.
That's not a public.
And
But
that
you
action
didn't use
was
the
to get-
exemption, so it
Get
wasn't
some
legal,
coverage here
Mr.
in the
Toomey.
interim.
You didn't use the
Conduct
proper
the,
exemption.
investigation.
You can't even
That was
name
done
the
in
exemption that you went in under.
And if it's illegal, I'm sure the Attorney General's office will inform this board of that. But
And in the meantime, we're gonna be thousands
The
and
dollars,
thousands and
right.
thousands of dollars
Right.
That's correct.
out of our pockets that
Right.
we can't afford.
Well,
That's correct.
there's financial issues going on here. We have,
Let's add to them.
yeah.
Right, that's a great plan.
I
Great
just want to
plan.
add to that gentleman's
We-
concern about the
You
water
know,
quality. This is a true
there are
story.
other things like,
And it's
we
very
have
important.
expenditures and proposals for expending. We had a price here to pave the parking lot for $9,500, and it turned into a $59,000.
It was only the U, I would say, and not the entire parking lot
Right.
with granite
With
curbs and paving, et
Right,
cetera.
curbing, striping, and
Get it
everything
straight.
else. And the, fix
Did
the,
you turn it
The
down?
board didn't want.
Okay.
Even though the
We weren't
town-
presented that, so.
even though the town
There was
had
a payment.
voted to authorize that payment by
Allocating
telling
the
you
funds.
that's what we wanted done.
Yeah.
The
Well,
board
we
chose
didn't sign
to
a
ignore
PO, and
that.
that's where it stands
The
right
board
now.
chose to ignore
So we're trying to
what
look at the
people wanted.
costs. We're trying to work for everybody here in town that is upset about their rates. Now, the rates have come up exorbitantly for this first billing cycle in the new fiscal year. So everybody's really up in arms about that.
What is
So
that
prompted
attributed
us to look at this stuff, and we, discussed it in executive session.
So tell us publicly,
management thing.
what is that
So-
attributed to? Why did the rates go up? You're a chairman, you should know.
Well, I think after we conclude our investigation, Mo, we're gonna find out why the rates went up.
You approved the budget, that's why the rates went up. Based on the
We're
DEP,
revisiting it.
based on the DEP requirements that this town, with $12 million treatment
Right.
plant, has certain personnel in place, has certain procedures in place, so on
We
and so forth.
never were.
You guys voted for the budget, the selectmen voted for the budget, the town voted for the budget, that's what sets the water rates. I'm sorry that the rates are high, as a selectman, I'm sorry the rates are high, but you know what?
Are you
We have a
against?
$12 million plant that we
I'm
just
sorry.
can't wish away.
Right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Peterson, but are you against us trying to look at ways we can cut costs here?
No,
Okay.
all I'm saying,
Just
Mr. Chairman, you asked me a question, I want to answer. I'm not against that at all. I applaud you if you're gonna do that. But we want it, and everybody here wants it.
Everybody wants it.
Right, in an open and public forum, not in an illegal executive session,
Here, here.
and that's the case. Do it in an open and public forum, and we're perfectly happy to listen to you.
Yes.
You blame the selectmen for all this stuff, the selectmen come in, ask questions, you don't like the questions we ask, you don't give us any answers, so to get something done, you have to go into one of these illegal executive sessions, so I mean,
All right, I think everybody's exhausted. I think everybody's points out.
May I speak? Under which appropriation have you illegally hired Weston and Sampson and Mr. Michella in your 2016 budget?
We figured we'll take that out of the, there's an operational maintenance account.
How is that operational maintenance?
Operational maintenance.
you got no idea what you're doing.
We're a board that has to maintain this thing,
You maintain
That's
the
not
water
operational.
system. That is not maintaining the water system.
maintaining the department. Okay, so that's what we're gonna take.
That's a nebulous issue.
Financial.
All right, so statute, chapter 4169B, I think that's, it's available here if anyone wants to take it. Job description for secondary operator.
Well, what's the question on 1669B? Why is it on there?
That's what we have to operate as a board that has the ultimate authority of all this.
There is no ultimate authority.
And I believe.
Well, we're responsible for all this, okay?
You're responsible for maintaining the water system of the town. If the Board of Selectmen came to you and said, you may not replace the mains on Main Street, then you would say, well, under our water regulations, yes, we do. That's the authority. You have authority.
I don't agree with that, but.
Well, isn't
I
that
agree
why
that-
we're here?
I think that's part of it, Karen, but it's not the whole thing. So anyways.
You don't
I'm
have the
gonna close
power
out
to do
citizens'
whatever
query
you
right
want
now.
under the auspice
Yes,
of
right
the
now,
chairman of the water.
Citizens' query has now lasted 55 minutes, okay? So we're going to move on with the other instances or the other items.
Karen, all you gotta do is do a point of inquiry and you can't stop. Laws and regulations require it.
Okay.
Actually, I do have one point of inquiry before you do move on, sir.
Job description for secondary
Excuse me, sir.
operator.
Point of inquiry,
I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Chairman.
I'm sorry, the
Point of
citizens'
inquiry.
query is now over.
It's actually a point of inquiry I can do at any point in
Job
time.
description of secondary
Excuse me, Mr.
operator, I
Chairman, I have
believe
a
is
point of inquiry. Before you
that
move
person
on.
is an operator. Yeah. He has
Wow.
a specific
Point of inquiry,
job
Mr. Chairman. You have
responsibility.
responsibility. You obviously don't like when people want to talk over you, but you don't want to respond to any questions, sir.
We had our secondary operator painting the office. I don't know if that's a good idea. If we have enough time for him to paint offices, I don't know if we need a bigger staff. If he's got the time to spend here painting an office, I think we ought to relook at our labor needs for the department.
We've done a point of inquiry, sir. You have to respond.
Your labor
That was
needs
my
are
point.
determined
Any
by your
discussion?
DEP plan.
Excuse me?
Any discussion?
I would applaud them for trying to do more with less.
Thank you,
I don't
yes.
think it's a bad idea to have one of the guys that has some experience painting. And from my understanding, it was only a few hours. They moved things around, freshened the place up, and saved a lot of money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
doing that.
So do you think that,
A painter is
But I
a
do
prevailing
think
wage.
do you think we need more staff?
Yes,
If he's
because
got the time to do that?
I think it's a minimal amount of time was spent. And yes, I do think we need more
I don't know how
staff.
minimal, it's quite a bit of work that was done in there.
It was very, very quick.
Okay,
It wasn't-
that was the only issue I wanted to bring up about the secondary.
DEP requires the staffing that we have.
Does it require the staff to paint?
It requires the staff with the licenses, what they don't worry about what they do, the same as you shouldn't be worried about what they do
Right.
day in and day out. That's the superintendent's job to worry about what their daily duties are.
Okay, so the
not
staff,
board members.
I'm sorry, we're gonna keep going on with the meeting here.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine.
status report from our interim water superintendent. Is there anything going on, Paul, as far as any issues that we need to be made aware
He's
of?
illegal, we don't even want to hear from him.
Yeah.
everybody's- No.
His company's been
And at this
informed.
point, I think the meeting's over. I need to go and earn a living. So you
Okay.
lose your quorum.
Thank you.
My apologies. But emergency meetings, I will make one statement. Emergency meetings have a set of requirements as well, and
I'll second the motion to close the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.